And here we go. Zephyrus is in the shed for her annual maintenance. Whole bunch of little projects going to go on here. We're going to redo some bright work. That mast has been a bit neglected. There's always work to be done on these cabin sides. All the bright work will be looked at. We didn't get around to finishing the transom in the at the haul out because it rained so much. So just lots of little fussy regular boaty type stuff, including installing the dresser. Some other interior stuff coming along as well, but we'll leave that for now. Okay, it's time to put the handles on these cabinet drawers, dresser drawers, and those are the handles of choice. So I'm going to put a piece of tape across, and that way any marks I make are only on tape, as long as I get this somewhere close to the center, and I'm all set. Now, if I was doing a lot of cabinets, I would make a little template that I just put on the front of each one and drill through the template. But at 4 the same size, it's hardly worth it. So slightly under 5 right there, 1/8 under 10 right there. I just decided to come down and work under the light. Couldn't see a darn thing down there. Okay, that looks a lot better. Now I want this hole to be nice and clean, so I'm using a brad point bit, and in fact the tape will help a little bit too. All right. All right, 1. Okay, I'm just putting the depth stops in, and this may look a little unusual, but it's actually genius. So by using a little bit of foam rod, I can actually create a spring behind the depth stop, because I do want these drawers to stop absolutely flush and be adjustable over time in case there's some change or something like that. So basically by adding this spring behind the stop, I can easily just wind this screw in or out to adjust the depth left or right. It works really great. All right, then, I didn't get to show you too much of this, but the dresser is in place, and I think it's just looking lovely. This is 3 coats of wipe-on poly, and I'm just so pleased with the way the drawers glide. I put a little bit of beeswax on the bottom, straight against the wood against the tracks, and they just glide perfectly. Each drawer just closes right flush. Super thrilled. Now you see this little gap here. Lady Zephyrus hasn't decided yet how far forward or back this will go. It can actually go back about 6 inches, which would give her a little bit of a shelf down there, although it's not a very useful shelf because you open a drawer across it and it falls off. But it'll also make it feel a little less crowded in this space, but it'll also give her less space on top. So anyway, we're going to debate that over the next little bit and decide exactly where to put it, and then trim it out, and then create a little hanging locker space here on the side. Anyway, I am just loving it. And good morning. So we're back oh gosh, that's for another day. Back inside, finishing up installing the last elements of this dresser. Lady Zephyrus has moved into her dresser already, which is great, but I still have to trim it out down around here and create a bit of a hanging locker space at the end, which was the intent. One of the complications here is that I'm also going to be making new steps here in the very near future, and I want to coordinate it so that this tread actually blends right into the nosing of whatever I do here. So alignment and everything here has to be just perfect. But yeah, I'm figuring it out as I go, as usual. What I have to do is make sure that the dresser is removable relatively simply at any time in the future to service the holding tank, which is under here. This edge trim can basically stay, but I do have to be able to get at hoses and valves and things like that relatively quickly. Okay, let's figure something out. I had to make a bit of a bracket out of plywood to hold this nosing piece in the exact right spot and give it lots of structure, because that'll end up getting stepped on in time, no doubt. Anyway, the balance here will be 1/2-inch mahogany plywood. And then around the corner, a little piece of trim piece underneath, and we're getting pretty close here. Just putting some marks where I can nail through. Okay, so I've dry fit these dams along the edges and how they'll notch in underneath the deck, and I wanted to make sure everything lined up perfectly with them. But now I'll clean them up and I'll put a little nosing on them, sand it out, and I get some oil on and fasten them permanently. It's going quite nicely. Oof! I think it's time to splurge on a new belt, shall we? Yes, indeed. This mast is neat in that it has the ability to tip over. At one point in its life, it must have been in a boat shed or some place that needed a little clearance. And what's neat is the wire for the anchor light there goes down and can flex here at this joint in this down this copper tube. So the only way I can think of taking this apart tidily is taking the light off the top and pulling the wire down through the tube. So let's have a look at that. Ugh.
What?
This is pretty ugly.
Tape? The wiring?
Yeah. Twisted together, no solder, no shrink tube, a little bit of electrical tape. Yuck. Screw heads are completely full of varnish. I'm going to redo all of this anyway. Let's do it on the bench. Done. That worked a treat. There we go. Cute little brass clamp. and mainly the cabin sides, looking for spots that need some attention. Now, this boat had originally been varnished cabin sides for years and years and years, and as it started to get more and more defects in it, someone at some point decided to paint it. And what happens then is you can't see the defects. So every once in a while I have to go over and see what I can find. And well, there's two very soft spots down here. These, I believe, are the result of bungs where the screws are here fastening it to the sill getting problematical. And well, there's actually quite a few more this season because I'm digging a little harder than I've ever dug before. Have a look back here. Yeah, indeed, quite a bit of damage down here, up in here, here. It's not the end of the world. We just have to find them, completely remove any rotten wood, dry them out, seal them up with thin epoxy, and then in cases of very large ones, perhaps fashion some Dutchmans, in other words, a solid piece of wood to graft in there. In other cases, they'll just be fiberglass filler put in here, and then it all fared again. This is the nature of these boats, and it's one of the reasons I want to redo the cabin sides on Geordie, because I have the same problem except it's under varnish, and well, it's quite obvious it's happening. Fresh water in wooden boats, it's tough, it's tough. All right. The lowly awl is the most terrifying tool for a wooden boat owner because it tells the truth. This is all finished through here. And this is poked through to the other side. I can tell you Lady Zephyrus is not very happy right now. We knew of some of this, but we didn't really know the full extent of it. So deciding exactly what to do here is going to happen over the next little while. Yeah. Soaking wet in here. I'll be the first to admit that this kind of caught up on us. Haven't really paid enough attention to this because it's generally looked okay and we've dealt with a few problems at a time. And you know, the truth is, ship fitters disease will set in. What I have to do is pick a few, fix them, get the boat out again, and then fix a few next time. Really, this boat could use new cabin sides. Couldn't they all? These panels have been on for so long, I really forget what's up here. But there obviously is wiring that I have to get to. Not to mention an ingenious way to put that hinged mast back together. Put this up with a million little pin nails. There we go. What I'm thinking, to bolt the two sections of mast that had been cut and hinged. I'm going to basically cut off the section that has been damaged by all the screw holes, epoxy them back together, but to make it really last, run a big lag bolt up through here into one in the front, one in the back. Nice big, long, beefy lag bolt to tighten it all together. But I got to make sure I have enough room. So the front bolt would be 6.5 inches forward from here, right about there. Perfect. That doesn't mean I'm out of the woods yet, but it looks good. You know, I really think there should be an SPCWB, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Wooden Boats. Can you see this seam here? And that cut in that deck beam, and that cut in that deck beam, and likewise over here. And these crappy sisters that were put in here at some point. Well, the entire roof of this boat had been cut open to install an engine sometime in the past. That same engine I was able to just slide out the window quite easily. Savage. Hope it wasn't you. Okay, so these three bungs look like they correspond with the 3 bolts that I saw down below. That's all very well. So now if my plan is to work, I have to drill a hole right down through here, parallel with this, all the way through to the inside of the boat, so I can run that bolt up and into the base of the mast. Now here's the problem. For starters, I'm going to have to cut a little bit of this off, because if you have a look at the other side, well, yes, there's all this screw damage here, and to be fair, I cannot currently find my ripping guide. So I'm going to have to drill a little bit further than I have to, but honestly, that's not going to be a problem. The problem is going to be, how is this affixed to this? And if I'd built this, there'd be some bloody big bolts bolted up through this and into this. Well, truth is, that's part of the sacrifice of this project. I'm going to have to drill through here and then through whatever I run into on my way to the inside of the boat. Let's start with a more sacrificial drill. So right about there, right about there. Let's just get going. So far so good. Let's get started at the back one. Well, me boys, how on earth did you attach this to this? Let's get serious. Well, hello and welcome to the Travels with Geordie Beer of the Week, coming to you this week from the suddenly windy cockpit of MV Geordie in Genoa Bay, British Columbia. It was beautiful and sunny, and now the wind comes up.
Yeah.
Such is a thing.
It is, yeah.
Let's celebrate that with a beer.
Okay. We've got the lemon ginger hefe.
I'm so excited.
Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
It's called Empire of Ideas, and it's by Small Gods Brewing.
Which is one of our favorite breweries now in Sydney, British Columbia.
Definitely.
Yeah, all right. Want to pour?
Sure.
So we've been out on the hook, not on the hook, we're actually on a mooring ball in general while we work on Zephyrus. We've been out here for over a week now, and it's a different kind of life, isn't it? I know. I encourage you to come and live aboard a nice cruiser downtown Victoria, and then not long from that she's at a haul out, and not long from that she's in the middle of a bay.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Ooh.
I like it.
It's good. It's like really gingery.
It's really gingery, which most things that claim to be gingery aren't all that gingery.
No.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's different.
The lemon and no, I like it.
Weird.
I'm not getting the hefe so much, except for the type of carbonation. Yeah. It's a slightly different.
Well, it's a non-pasteurized
yeah,
beer.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's really good. That's a win. Before we go too far, I have to give away last week's t-shirt. Man, I can't put that glass there.
Okay.
And I have no paper because this is happening impromptu, so I put it on my phone. And Landy
5411.
You won yourself a Travels with Geordie t-shirt. Send us along an email at swag@travelswithgeordie.com, and we'll make sure you get your shirt. Can I have my beer back? It's so yummy. Not a lot to talk about this week, but I do want to continue to show my appreciation and gratitude for you sticking it out through this, because, I mean, some days are great. Today it poured rain all day.
Yeah, it was nasty.
And those of you who've been following along know that Geordie doesn't have much ceiling on the cabin tops right now, so there were some leaks here. Anyway, I did attempt a tarp last night, but the wind came up in the middle of the night, and having the tarp was more miserable than the possibility of rain coming through.
Yeah, there's no way we're gonna sleep through that.
Wow, what a thunderous noise. So up 2 in the morning, cutting the tarp away.
Thank you.
A little quieter.
Yeah.
So it has been a bit of an adventure
Yeah.
this last little bit, and I'm really, really grateful for your good support about it. And we'll persevere through. At least tomorrow, we're going to the city. We're staying on our other boat.
Yay.
And we can go out on the town for a couple of days for the weekend. Well, cheers to that.
Cheers.
All we need for these kind folks now is a word of the week, and I'm going to give it the word of the week. And it is grateful, which I've used before, but I am so grateful for the love and affection of this young woman and her patience and tolerance for this crazy lifestyle, which is sort of okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That pretty much wraps it up, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.